right, here's a London Marathon update, and the question I'm asking myself is, am I ready for this race? Because whoa, there is less than a month to go, and I feel excited and a bit nervous at the same time. But first, welcome to this channel, The Color is Green YouTube channel, and thank you for watching. This channel promotes healthy eating, gardening, and fitness as key components to living a vibrant, prosperous, and happy life. So I'm sharing video content to inspire and show how plant-based eating, gardening, and fitness can really bring happiness and prosperity into all of our lives. So I really believe this. It's doing that for me so far. And sharing is caring, so here we are. I'm excited about the London Marathon for a couple of reasons. One, because it's travel, and what's not to love about, getting to visit a new place or a place you've been before and seeing new things. I just really like having trips on the calendar. It gives me something to look forward to, right? When you're in the trenches and the throes of day-to-day life, it's something to look forward to and kind of keep you going. It does that for me. So I'm looking forward to visiting London, but I am going for a very specific purpose outside of sightseeing and getting to learn about the people there and the place itself. I'm going to London to run the London Marathon, and there's a few hurdles that I'm going to have to cross in order to make this trip a success. So the first hurdle is going to be packing for the race. You think, okay, you like to travel, what's so hard about packing for the race? But packing for running a race is a little bit different than just packing to go on a typical. So traveling and packing for a race can be tricky because there's so many specific things that you need to have with you. And you might not be able to get these things when you're at the destination or the location of the race. So for example, one of them, it's so specific. I need a certain type of moleskin padding to protect my feet from blisters. It's also why I'm thinking about dealing with the luggage situation that I think is still happening in London. There's all these news stories and social media posts about the nightmares of losing luggage in London. So I got a game plan for that and kind of strategize splitting the items up so I can make sure if I lose one bag, then all is not lost. So see, it's a lot that goes into this. Gotta be organized, I gotta get ready, I have to have everything kind of mapped out and done. So with 3 weeks to go, this is a hurdle that I'm gonna be working through in the meantime. So I'm gonna need race gear, and it's not just a shirt and shorts that I have to have. I need the running shorts or maybe even leggings. I don't know what the weather is gonna be. Is it gonna be super cold in October? I have to check that out. So running shorts, a running shirt, a sports bra, yes, to protect, and keep things in place. I might need a visor, right? Trying to figure out if it's going to be cloudy overhead or so I need a visor to protect myself either way from the sun. Running shoes. I've been running with the Hoka ones for probably about 2 years. These shoes, this brand of shoe, like I was in the Nike running shoe for so long, but the Hoka ones are really a game changer. And so right now I'm just in the process of figuring out the right size because I had gone back down to an 11 in the running shoe. It felt like there was enough room in there, but now I'm dealing with this situation with, I'm gonna stick with the Hoka ones, but I gotta figure out which is the right size shoe that I need to have. So running shoes, definitely I'm gonna bring a couple pair just to have some options there. And then socks too, to deal with the blister situation. Well, I'm gonna do the Injinji socks, and these are that have the actual, I'll show an example of those, but the gloves for your feet, that's what it is. I had to think about what this is. So it kind of protects the toes from rubbing up against each other, and it's like an extra layer of protection against the blisters and the hot spots. So Injinji socks is something that I need to have. I talked about the moleskin padding, bandage tape. So the deal is I've already lost 2 toenails just in training. I know that this is all these items are gonna help me make sure I don't, God forbid, prevent me from somehow being able to run the race. That was up. What to pack. So I talked about race gear, and so now it's down to the supplements and nutrition. But you think about running 26.2 miles and all the nutrients that you're going to be depleting in your body, all the hydration, water, you have to replenish all this. So take on the days leading up to the race, and then also during and after the race for recovery. So I'm going to be packing all of these items. I think it's going to take me 5 hours to run the race, and I eat more than 1 or 2 times within a 5-hour time frame on a regular day. So I gotta figure out my food situation, food, nutrition, supplements, all that. Debating on whether I get a hydration belt or just keep the handheld bottle. And the problem with the handheld water bottle is that it's not gonna hold enough water, right? It probably only holds about 20 to 24 ounces of water, and so I know I'm going to need much more than that for 5 hours. And what I noticed at the last marathon that I ran, so this is post-COVID, they've done away with the disposable cups at water stations. At least that was at the last marathon that I went. It's neat because it cuts down on waste, and it using these cups one time and then throwing them away. So it's a lot less waste, but it's something that I think I'm gonna really have to think about in terms of having enough water and just being able to hydrate throughout the race, because I'm not gonna be stopping at water stations getting plastic cups every mile. And the thing that I don't want is, this is no shade, and it's nothing wrong. If people are comfortable wearing those hydration belts, I think that's fine, but I don't like to do it just because it just feels bulky. And then it's like, you have a belt with bottles around your waist. And the people who wear these are probably like, oh, well, that's your problem. You need a hydration belt with 5 bottles on it to make life easier for you. So do I want to be fashionable, or do I want to have the functionality? That's the question. So for right now, I'm thinking about just I said all that to say, the races are BYOB, bring your own bottle. So I'm just thinking about bringing the handheld water bottle that has the strap on it, and I think that I will be able to refill the water bottles station by station, at every other mile or so. So definitely, supplements, I always take Advil, electrolytes, any energy chews, like the little packets with the gel in them. All of these kind of help keep you going. Fuel that you need to be on your feet, running, exercising, having your heart rate up for 5 hours. So race technology, I'm debating between my AirPods and an actual pair of Beats, or like athletic Beats, and that's just because the AirPods, when they get super sweaty, obviously they're going to be slipping or falling out. So I need to just keep testing that out. I want to just go with what I have. The last thing I want to do is have a pair of wired headphones for music, by the way, because I listen to music while I run. And actually, I need to put a playlist together. So a 5-hour playlist, and I'm open to suggestions. Shout out, what you listen to while you're exercising and running, and what you think some good music would be to, kind of keep the party going for 5 hours. No, I'm definitely gonna carry my iPhone with me. I need my phone in case of an emergency. So I'll have my phone, but I want to track my miles on my Apple Watch. So I definitely have that in place. But the thing that I'm trying to decide is whether to have a GoPro with me to kind of film the sights and be able to just capture the experience of it. It's something to be like touring a city on foot, like, hitting up all the landmarks and just doing that sightseeing that you get to do while you're on foot running a race. And I want to be able to capture that on video somehow. So it's either going to be my cell phone, or if I can figure out how these people who are able to run with a GoPro, I think it's like, what kind of special talent does it take to be able to run with a GoPro? Like, how are you doing it all? Like, maybe I need to train and test that out too, because I'm interested in doing it, but I haven't done it before, so I need to test that. And there may be some things I've left off this list. It's a pretty long list. As you can see, I've got to get all this stuff organized and kind of prepare ahead of time. So if you think there's anything you suggest that I've left off so far, shout it out. Let me know, and I will add it to the list. So there's 2 more hurdles I have to cross, right? To have a successful trip, finish the race, and, get the 4th of the 6 world majors under my belt. I'm running the London Marathon in October, and before I can make it to the start line, I have to reach my fundraising goal, and then also make sure I wrap up my training that I've been doing since April. So training, I would give myself a B or a B plus. Like I said, I have been training since April, but I had a couple of kind of like detours and obstacles, which that comes with the territory, right? If you're training for over 6 months, you're still living your life. You're not like, I wish I was an elite athlete that got paid to just train for a race. That's not my truth. Past since April, 5 months or so, I would give myself a B or a B plus for training. I feel like I'm getting a decent amount of miles in every week. I worked my way up to about 15 miles a week, got to the 20-mile long run with about 3 weeks to go. So I'm happy with that. And I was able to finish that at a decent pace. I'm dealing with the situation with the blood blister right now from that long run, but I'm happy that I'm dealing with it now versus having that happen on the day of the race and have to finish out 6 miles. No way to tape it up or give it time to heal. The summer heat was actually a challenge. And this is kind of consistent. I think no matter where you are, you felt really hardcore heat that we had this year. So dealing with that in the months of June and July, especially here in Texas, and even August, right? It's just now getting to the point where, you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and it's not 90 degrees outside. So the heat was a little bit of a challenge, but I think what I've gotten accustomed to is on those really hot days, it's just a matter of going into the gym. It's not preferred, but running on a treadmill to get the miles in, you just kind of do what you have to do. That's been the case as far as mileage. Yoga once a week, strength training once or twice a week. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. I feel like I feel a slight increase in strength. The tail of the tape will be on race day. I'll know for sure how well the weight training and the yoga worked. When I'm at mile 18, and check in with me then. It'll be my first race that I run on a 100% plant-based diet. So I do have some questions about that, because yes, I know that protein comes from plants, and I eat my servings of legumes and greens, plants that have protein, walnuts, almonds, cashews, all of that stuff. It's what I normally eat, and I have been doing that. But just for the amount of miles and the calories that I'm burning and how I'm replenishing all that and what my body is doing with the food that I'm eating is going to be a true test to see the difference from kind of eating a standard diet versus running a marathon on 99.9% plant-based diet, because there have been some situations where I found out something that I ate, had some animal products in it. It's not enough to get my protein for a race, but I'm still lamenting over the situations that have happened. I did see a recommendation actually where days leading up to the race, you're supposed to cut back on the protein and switch the amounts and start taking in more carbs. I understand that because I've always done the carb loading to kind of fuel up and create a reserve glycogen for the muscles and all that. So I'm on it with that. And I have no problem. Carbs, that's not going to be an issue for me. Sign me up. So I was happy to see that. I was yeah, I can do that. so I have to kind of report out on something that I talked about in an earlier video. I was like, oh, how running, you can just eat whatever you want. Well, I'm not losing any weight. This just as a PSA, to follow up from the last video. I'm not losing weight. I'm maintaining weight. And so Father Time was like, you can keep eating all those bowls of ramen if you want to, and your weight is going to be what your weight is. So it's not a huge deal. It's not anything that I'm focused on, but it's just an observation that, like, before I was able to eat whatever I wanted while training for a race and still lose weight and just feel super confident about that. But that time in my life has passed. So the other thing is dealing with the jet lag. So the UK is like about a 6-hour time difference. So 6 hours ahead of us here in the US, or in Texas anyway. And it's a 9-hour flight from our international airport to London Heathrow. So I'm trying to figure out ways to deal with and minimize the effects of jet lag. So just some things that I know to do: hydrate the days leading up to the race. I know that I'm supposed to try to adjust my sleep schedule as much as possible the week before. That's never like worked 100% for me, but I'm gonna try that again this time. And then upon arrival, kind of stay off my feet. Don't get too excited. Don't be out running the streets and doing all the sightseeing stuff and tours days leading up to the race. So I'm going to take it easy and just try to acclimate as much as possible once I get there. Once I get there in the days between arriving and then, the day of the actual race. I want to know what everybody else does to manage their jet lag. Like, how do you recover? How do you acclimate as soon as possible? What do you do to kind of ease the jet lag symptoms? Just let me know what you're doing for them. Okay, my last big point is just around fundraising. So I need to reach my fundraising goal to get me to the start line of the London Marathon. I'm running for charity. And this year I'm running for the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research. And the good news is I've reached about 50% of my fundraising goal. So thank you to everyone who's donated so far. This is my first year running for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. In the years prior, I've run for Team for Kids in the past 2 marathons that I run. So I really am, I love those charities and what they have to offer and the programs and access they provide. I'm enjoying getting to learn a little bit more about what Parkinson's disease is, who it affects, and how this foundation is actually helping people who are living with or dealing with having the disease. So what is Parkinson's? It's a disease that occurs when the brain cells are no longer producing dopamine. Those cells stop working or just die. It creates a lack of dopamine in the system, and that causes problems with movement in the body. So people's ability to move, your range of motion can be limited or just uncoordinated. That's why I'm learning that's why the disease is called a movement disorder. So people with the disease, what they experience, kind of like the symptoms of that, are like slowness in their movements, tremors, walking, and just having balance problems. Who does it affect? When I first decided that I was going to be running for the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's disease, I immediately thought about Muhammad Ali, because I knew that was something that he dealt with in his later years in life. So that was kind of how I associated it, and that was what I knew. That was the one person that I knew that had Parkinson's disease. In the research, it says that there are about 1 million people in the United States that deal with this, and then about roughly 6 million people that have experienced the effects or deal with the disease worldwide. And the cause, this is interesting, the cause of Parkinson's is unknown. So there are factors that contribute to it, like genetics, perhaps environment, and then the one thing that I associated it with was aging. But apparently all these factors can contribute to people who experience the disease or disease, and there's no one, everybody who has the disease in the same way. So all of those are factors that have been identified, but there's no actual link to one cause in one person. Since I've started fundraising, I've had people to share with me that, their older family members are experiencing the effects of the disease. So I'm really happy to know that, you know, I'm running for this charity that might be able to help find treatments and eventually a cure for people that I know and their family members, you know, who need help with this. So how did I pick the charity? Like I said, I only knew of Muhammad Ali initially, but I'm kind of learning more and more about how this affects like a broader group of people. But just in general, you know, when you run for a charity and you see the cause it's supporting, and it definitely helps to know that it aligns with, you know, what I care about, and that's the health and wellness of people just in general. Like I said, I run for charities in the past, and Team for Kids is a organization that raises funds to create awareness around childhood obesity, and develop programs and provide resources and access to activities to help eradicate childhood obesity for children and young people around the world. Now, this was one that was very important to me because living in Texas, like, we are one of the most obese states. It's kind of hard to say that, but it's what the data was showing at the time. To be able to kind of champion a program or just work towards raising funds for children being able to have access to these programs, knowing that, you know, changing their eating habits and just incorporating more activity into their daily lifestyle helps them improve their health, helps them improve their self-esteem, and that leads to better relationships and just their overall well-being, you know, in their world. So that was something that I was happy to be a part of. And I think while it's not the same disease, it's not the same really age group that we know of, I think it all boils down to kind of helping people and providing resources just for people's overall well-being. So I feel like Team for Kids and Team Fox both address a disease that can affect these similar aspects of life. So finding treatments that help people maintain the quality of life with Parkinson's. And if this is something that, you know, you feel like you want to support, or you feel like you can support it, by all means, check out my fundraising page. I've left the link in the description of this video. Any amount you can donate will help. It all counts, it all adds up, and it's all very much appreciated from me. And I'll appreciate you for helping me reach my goal and getting to the start line of the London Marathon. So that's it for now. You know about the hurdles that I have to cross, with a little bit of time left to actually get it done. And yeah, it's a challenge, but I'm excited about it and I'm gonna have fun. I think the race is gonna be great. I'm so happy to see these events actually coming back, you know, after the past couple years, and people are able to get out and do the things that they love. So that's it for now. I'll be busy packing, training, and fundraising to get ready for the London Marathon. And I'll be counting down just a few weeks till the big race. So stay tuned, check back, and thank you for watching.